I turned 74 this year, and just last week, a woman at the grocery store looked at me, tilted her head, and said, "Wait, you're not over 55, right?" I laughed. I always do, because I know what she sees now is not how I used to look. I tell people the truth. I'm 74, and they just stare for a second, sometimes blink, sometimes tilt their heads like they didn't hear me right. Then they ask me what cream I use, or what doctor I go to, or if I've had some procedure done, and I always shake my head. It's not genetics, and it's definitely not expensive skincare. There's one thing I stopped doing, and I truly believe that changed everything. But I didn't know that back then. Back then, around 64, maybe 65, I looked older than I was, not in a graceful way. My skin had this dull tone, not glowing, just flat, tired. I could put on all the lotions in the world, but it didn't help. My eyes always looked heavy, like I hadn't slept, even when I had. Dark circles, tiny lines around them, that stubborn puffiness that wouldn't go away. And my face, I remember this clearly. It looked puffy, almost swollen, especially in the mornings. When I got up and washed my face, I could still see the tiredness lingering in the mirror. I didn't feel like myself. It's a strange feeling when your body is still here, but your face starts telling a different story. Like the mirror is showing someone else entirely. I remember one photo. My daughter took it during a small birthday dinner. Nothing special, just family, laughter, the clink of glasses. I was smiling. At least, I thought I was. Later that night, I saw the picture on her phone, and I went quiet, because the woman in that photo looked older than I felt inside, much older. There was no light in my face, no energy, just tired. I didn't say anything to anyone. I just sat there, staring at it, feeling this sinking realization that something had changed. Not drastically, not all at once, but slowly, imperceptibly, until one day there I was. But something in me shifted that night. A tiny, quiet resolve began to grow. A few weeks later, I went to see my doctor. I didn't go because I was sick. I just didn't feel right. Like something was slowly wearing me down. Like my body had been running on autopilot, and I hadn't noticed. He looked at me, asked a few questions, checked a few things. Then he said something simple. "Nothing is seriously wrong, but your body isn't being supported the way it should." That stayed with me. It didn't scare me, it just lingered in the back of my mind. So I started small. I didn't change everything overnight. I didn't buy every trendy supplement or try some miracle program. I just added a few things. A spoon of olive oil with my meals, sometimes in the evening before bed. I felt the warmth of it settling in, oddly comforting. I started eating eggs again. I had avoided them for years. I don't even remember why. Simple scrambled eggs in the morning, sometimes boiled, sometimes with a sprinkle of salt. I added fish a couple times a week, nothing fancy, just salmon, sometimes mackerel, cooked simply, just a little lemon and herbs. And berries, a small bowl almost every day, red, blue, black, whatever looked fresh. I liked the tart sweetness, the little burst of flavor in my mouth. At first, nothing dramatic happened. I didn't wake up looking younger. I didn't feel a sudden rush of energy. But I did feel something, very subtle. My mornings felt a little lighter. My stomach felt calmer. I didn't have that heavy feeling after eating. And after a few weeks, my skin looked slightly better. Not glowing, not radiant, but less dull, a little more alive. I remember thinking, okay, maybe I'm on the right track. But something still felt off. I couldn't explain it. I was eating better, I was trying, and yet my energy would still drop in the middle of the day. My face still felt heavy sometimes, especially in the afternoons, and I didn't understand why. I didn't know it at the time, but food wasn't the real issue. Not the kind of food, at least. There was something else I was doing, every single day, without even thinking about it. Something that felt normal, something most people do, and I had been doing it for years. That turned out to be the real problem. But I wouldn't understand that until later. But even after those small changes, I noticed something. Yes, my mornings felt lighter. Yes, my skin had a little more life in it. But I still didn't look like the person people now tell me I look like. I still felt off. It took me months to realize why. I was eating all the time, not just meals, snacks, little things, cookies, fruit, handfuls of nuts, every 2-3 hours, almost constantly. At first it didn't seem like a big deal. I thought I was being healthy. I thought small meals kept me from getting hungry. But my body was never really resting. I never felt truly light. My stomach often felt tight. My face still looked slightly puffy. Energy bounced up and down through the day. Some mornings I would wake up and feel heavy, slow, even before breakfast. One afternoon I caught myself opening the pantry out of habit and staring at the shelves. I didn't even want anything. I just reached out automatically. That's when I realized this was my problem. So I made a decision. I stopped snacking completely. Not suddenly, not harshly. I just started paying attention. Instead of mindlessly reaching for something, I would pause, drink a glass of water, walk to the window, look outside, and slowly I started eating in a shorter window. Not fasting, not dieting, just meals with long breaks in between. The first week felt weird. I kept checking the clock, worried I was missing something. But my body slowly adapted. And then I tried something else. I started chewing my food slowly, really slowly. At first it felt absurd. I had always rushed. Breakfast while reading the paper, lunch while checking emails, dinner while half watching TV. But this time, I chewed each bite. I tasted it. I felt it. I noticed how it felt going down. I noticed my stomach relaxing as I ate. I noticed my mind quieting, noticing the flavors, textures, and warmth. It was a small, almost silly thing, but it mattered. Weeks passed. Subtle changes appeared. My mornings became lighter, my stomach calm, my skin clearer, my eyes brighter. The little wrinkles around my mouth softened. My cheeks seemed fuller in a natural way. I stood taller without thinking about it. Even my hands looked younger. I noticed it when I washed them in the sink. They looked soft, veins less prominent. I ran my fingers over the smooth knuckles and felt a small thrill. Then came the small, almost unbelievable moments. The other day I was at the park with my granddaughter. We were sitting on a bench, tossing crumbs to the ducks. A woman smiled at me, leaning down. "You're so lucky. You look barely 50, she said. I laughed quietly, but inside I felt a rush of disbelief. I remembered all the mirrors I had avoided, all the mornings I felt like I was wearing someone else's face, all the times I had hoped for a magic cream, a secret doctor, something to fix me. But it wasn't that. It was giving my body space, space to rest, space to repair, space to notice itself. It wasn't one food. It wasn't a single habit. It was small changes, consistency, attention, patience. I noticed tiny rituals that made a difference: drinking water slowly in the morning, taking a short walk before lunch, sitting quietly for 10 minutes in the sun, chewing, tasting, noticing. These small things added up. I started noticing reactions from people. Neighbors complimented me on my energy. A friend asked if I had changed my hair or if I was using some new makeup. I just smiled. Now, at 74, I finally feel like I inhabit my own skin. I wake up and see a reflection that matches how I feel inside: light, steady, alive. I feel the difference in my energy, in my posture, in the way I carry myself. Even little things, brushing my hair, picking up my granddaughter, walking to the mailbox, feel easier. I notice details others don't: how sunlight hits my skin, how my feet feel on the grass, how I can bend, stretch, and stand without hesitation. I smile at the mirror now, not out of vanity, but because I see myself. I see strength, energy, life. So if you're in your 60s or 70s, don't try to do everything at once. Start with one thing, just one. Give your body the chance to rest. Give yourself the chance to notice the small, quiet transformations, because those little changes add up. And one day, someone will look at you and ask, "You're not over 55, are you?" And you'll smile quietly, knowing the truth. Yes, I am, and I've never felt younger in my life. Not in my body, not in my mind, not in the way I see the world. And that feeling, that is priceless.